So I wasn't going to make a video on this, but Brother Lionel, and also just watching a latest Pink Book Lessons video, and just one chick off of Comedy Hype. Hopefully the audio's not fucked. Alright, let's put it right there. This one chick off of Comedy Hype talking. But I was talking with my homeboy. He's here visiting for a couple days. And I was talking to my homeboy about what's going on in the economy, what's going on in our everyday lives, you know, things like that. And what's wild is, and I'll probably label this 4% versus 4.25% rising. Let's add some context. Let's set the table. First off, today I got a call from my boss, and he says, hey, I'm gonna, you got a 4% raise, so I go from $125 a year to $130 a year. And that's $5,000, so that's good, right? He's like, oh, okay, cool, 4% raise. But I already knew that wasn't shit, because I have my own personal indicators and stuff to where I can see how, not how the economy's doing, but how the economy directly affects me. I have an option to borrow against my trading account. And I remember when I first started, it was at 1.5% or 2.5%. But because I pay for the service for M1 Finance, I get 1% off. So if it's 2.5%, I get 1.5%. So I'm judging everything off of that 1.5%. Now, that same account is 6.25%. Just last week, it was 5.75%. So that means that actually they're charging for people that want to borrow that don't use the M1 Finance Plus or Gold or whatever. They're charging them 7.25%, right? So anyways, I get that. So I'm seeing all this. And of course, that raise didn't happen in 1 year. So then, talking with Lionel, and he was talking about like, okay, everything's raising up 5%. And I'm like, shit, that's kind of great. That's this, like we're looking at 5%. And Lionel's already told me, hey, we might see a 9% federal funds rate. And I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking crazy. So then, all that, and then fast forward to today, I get that call about the 4% raise. And I get a $1,000, I think it's like $1,000 Christmas bonus or something like that, right? And I'm like, okay, you get $1,000 Christmas bonus. I was like, all right, well, whatever, I can't look at that as like, oh, measly $1,000. It's just like, yo, listen, that's a bonus. I'm not entitled to it in any which way, shape, or form. And they could fire me at any fucking time. So I never really look at bonuses as something that like I should get and blah, blah, blah. So I get the 4% raise, get the $1,000 bonus. It's like, all right, cool. That's a nice little chunk of change there, right? But then you start looking at, and I already knew this in my head, right? It wasn't something like, I was just going through the motions with with my boss talking about, hey, this is what we're gonna do, this is what's happening. The whole end of the year conversation. I'm just going through. I'm coasting through the conversation. I'm like, oh, okay, great, yeah, that sounds cool. All right, no problem. In my head, I already know that the federal funds rate already ate that 4% before I even got it. So this year alone, that 4% has already been gone. So I'm already losing money. I'm already making less, quote unquote, right? In terms of, interest rate. Like, all that stuff's already gone. Then I talk to my coworker, and my coworker says, yeah, bro, that shit doesn't even make any sense, especially when you look at how much it costs just for insurance alone. And it's like the insurance has gone up. And then it clicked. Another conversation I had with another homeboy today who actually works in insurance sales, car insurance sales. Actually, insurance sales in general. Like, he does it for a couple different states, mostly cars. But he works for like one of the big companies, right? And he says, bro, your rates are going to get hiked another 2 to 3 times this year, because in Georgia, I think we're #1 in the U.S. for unpaid insurance. And I'm like, or unpaid insurance policies. I'm like, are you fucking serious? So let's go back a little bit. When I had my Ford Explorer and I first moved here, coming from South Florida, I was paying $160 a month in car insurance for one vehicle. Then come to Georgia, register the vehicle here, pay the taxes or whatever, and then I'm paying, what was I paying? It got cut in half to about $79. So 80, like, got cut in half, about $80, right? So then there's that. Then when I got the truck, the Silverado 2500, then it went up to $92. I'm like, all right, cool. Now my insurance is $118 a month. $118 a month. So we got this 4% that's already eaten by the federal funds rate. This year alone, I looked up a chart, and I'll probably put this in the community tab. But I looked up how much they have actually gone up this year alone. They've gone up 4.2%, 4.25% on the federal funds rate this year alone. So basically, I'm losing 0.25 already. Then I'm also losing on other services and things that I have to pay for, rate hikes on different services, insurance, taxes, and every fucking thing else out there. I'm losing on these things. So when you look at a 4% rate hike or a 4% raise, it's already gone. Classically, it's always been kind of gone. Like you get your usual 3% cost of living increase or something like that. So classically, it's always been that way. But now, even more so, you're making less and less money every single year. Damn near every day. And you're going to have, it's to the point where almost employers, which would be nice, but, they're not going to do this, of course. I mean, capitalism, right? Trying to get the most bang for your buck, most out of your employees for the least amount of money. Employers really should be every 6 months looking to actually raise their employees' pay. And even if you're going to give them 4% per year, in the middle of the year, you should be looking to give them 2% every 6 months. And then that'll stay on that same rate. And it's just wild what's going on with the economy in terms of jobs and everything else. In terms of jobs, and in terms of, what's happening in the macro economy with these different countries trying to make different trade deals and trade organizations where it's backed by gold and other things, and I'm trying to circumvent U.S. sanctions, so on and so forth. But when you look at this, right, and you really get into it, and you really start to break down what's happening, and the fact that my dog just farted, and I think I just put that, oh my God, that's it, oh Jesus, that's damn near my mouth. Like, look at this, like, this dog, okay, you can't, damn it, you can't see it, alright, don't worry about it, Jesus Christ, oh man, oh, so, if I do the pay, I can't. This dog is something else. So when you're looking at all of this happening, right? And Lionel said something, about the gender war or whatever, whatever it is now, wherever the battle, the skirmishes are. And again, this is the final domino fell, or the final the straw that broke the camel's back for me to even make this video was Pink Book Lessons and the woman complaining about the Tory Lanez versus Meg Thee Stallion case. It's wild what's happening, because so many people are getting wrapped up in gender war, relationships, what a man's going to do for me, and what a man and what women are doing, and how women are saying, hey, listen, you need to pay for this. I'm watching this one video where supposedly this one guy, he's an hour and a half late for the date. So the chick says, no, you're going to buy food for my kids. And then, the waitress is like, oh no, the waitress listens to the lady and starts to proceed to get the food. And the dude's like, no, where the hell are you going, sweetheart? Like, what do you mean you going to get the food? Nah, calm down. And you're seeing things like that. Plus, you're seeing on Dear Future Wifey, he had a short where this black lady's with this white man, and she's talking about how he, she was driving pretty much a rust bucket, and he went ahead on the showroom floor and bought her a brand new car. And then she was like, that really, caused me to, open up to him and put my walls down and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that sounds transactional as fuck. Everybody's like, oh my God, I'm sure he didn't ask, what are you bringing to the table, or none of that other shit. And I'm thinking to myself, and I was just like, of course he didn't. He just bought her. And then people are just really not, and again, I do believe in, and I try to, not be too, I guess, quote unquote, toxic in there. And I was like, wow, that sounds, I was like, LOL, that sounds transactional. But I understand investing in a woman versus like, tricking. There's like, I think it's like, oh man, there's like 3 levels of it. And I always forget it, man. I always forget one of them. But there's simping, simping, tricking, and investing. And I understand like the difference between all of them. Simping is where you're putting a whole bunch of money and not getting much back. Tricking is where it's transactional, somewhat equal or equivalent exchange. So you're exchanging money, resources, or something, or maybe your time for some sexual access of some sort. And then investing is where you're pouring into somebody, but you're also getting something out of that, right? And investing is the best one out of the 3. It's the best in terms of long term and whatever. But when you're seeing all of this stuff happening and how people are, again, like I live in Southeast Georgia, but a lot of stuff, of course, happens in Atlanta, and how like a lot of these places are going to be, places where you're not going to want to be. You're not going to want to live in these areas during these times. You're not going to want to live in these city centers, these metropolitan areas. You're not going to want to live there, because what's going to happen is the possibility that you might get caught up in the bullshit, so to speak, right? You might get caught up in the mayhem that will befall us all, right? And I mean, like, when I say mayhem, and I'm not talking about like something like outlandish, like say, fucking The Purge, and people are running around in the streets with masks and just hacking people apart and shit. I'm talking about like the slow boil, the higher crime rates, the fact that you have more people that are stressed, the fact that you're going to be more stressed at your job, that you're not going to understand what's happening and why you feel the way that you do, the fact that you might do something crazier outside of your character behavior-wise, just because you want to escape, but you can't go anywhere because you can't afford to. Plane tickets are too high. Gas prices are too high, so you can't even do a little staycation within your state to go to like a nice amusement park or something like that. Christmas is not going to look the same. Holidays aren't going to look the same. Summer trips are not going to happen. You're going to stay your ass in the house, you know what I'm saying, with the AC fucking off, you know what I mean, and using fans for cooling type shit because the bills are too fucking high. It's going to be little shit like that, man. And for a lot of people, it's going to aggregate, or it's going to be a culmination of, it's going to be a confluence of things that are going to happen, but it's really going to bubble up to the top where people are going to be like, well, we haven't seen all the things that are happening with the cars. Like, again, I told y'all I ordered that vehicle, canceled the vehicle. I'm actually glad I did cancel it because now they're coming out with the AMG S63. So, gonna have to get that baby. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna have to fucking get that car. It is a need, it is a necessity. I must have it. It's like breathing. But you have car prices that are going to go down. We haven't even seen the full extent of Carmageddon, which I'm Classic has been following diligently in WhatsApp group that I'm a part of. And he's like, he's been like definitely an all-star. Brother I'm Classic, Alvin. He's definitely been an all-star in that group in terms of the information that he's providing. You're seeing the bloodbath in the market right now. Glenn Cameron talks about that strong cocaine and the fact that, people, it used to be $60. You'd walk out of the grocery store with like fucking, you couldn't even hold all the fucking bags. Now, bro, I get probably 10 items on average. On average, items are like $10 a piece. And I get like 10 items, and it's like 2 or 3 bags, and that's $100. I mean, this is the slow boil, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the 4% raise, but then the federal funds rate, and we're not even done with the year, but this should be the last one, but we're looking at a 4.25% raise in the federal funds rate within a fucking year, dude. And it's just like, holy shit. We're going back to the numbers where we might have double-digit interest rates, or even getting close to it, depending on the economy. But, you talk to older people, so sage like people like BGS, where he talks about in the past, they used to have 15, 17%, 20%, I think, interest rates and stuff like that on housing prices and vehicles and all types of other stuff. And the economy is different, but at the same time, that's fucking crazy. And then we have to live through that. I mean, just to buy fucking ground beef for my dog, right? Because I buy like the little 3 pound, I think it's like 3 pounds or something like that. So about like 6 pounds of ground beef, and then I feed her probably about 6 pounds of ground beef a week, right? And I have to cook that shit. So it's like, I think it's like $12 per pack. $12 for a 3 pound pack, the 80/20 pack. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, fuck. Like, and it's not, it's not crazy for me, thankfully. Even if it was just, I would make a little bit less or something like that. It's still not crazy, thankfully. But, like, oh, man. I mean, I could keep going on and on and on, and I really don't want to. But the amount of things, at the end of the day, you're being eaten away slowly. And I guess the point of this video is that you're going to have to, quote unquote, either shack up with people. You're going to have to put yourself in certain positions when it comes to how you interact with people, save money, budget. You're going to have to put yourself in a position it's getting to the point where you're gonna, at minimum, have a second job that is making as much as your primary. That's how crazy it's gonna be. That's how crazy it is. And I'm not talking like you can't get a second job where, say, for instance, you make 80K or 70, 80K or something like that. And then you can go and get a nice little 40K job or 50K job. That's not going to be enough. Like, it's getting to that point where it's not going to be enough. And I'm exaggerating a little bit. Like, I mean, if you can bring in an extra 40, 50K gross, not net. But, if you bring in that much, another 40K gross, that works out to be about 25, 30K or something like that. Depending on your tax bracket. And of course, at that tax bracket, you're going to be taxed higher. Of course, you're getting closer to the third or the 30 something percent at that rate. So you're pretty much back down to making, what you were making at your one job in a sense, because now you're making more money. So now you're getting taxed higher. And because you're getting taxed higher, you're already like behind and you have to deal with that. So there's that part. But this is what it's coming to the point where I think you're going to have to double your income to make it through this. You're going to have to double, like, whatever you're making now, you will have to double it. Point blank, period. Period. I said what I said. You're going to have to double your income to make it through this shit. It's just that fucking bad. That's how close it's going to be. That's how, that's where we're starting to really go with all of this. For you to really make it, and I'm talking like, when I say make it, let me contextualize this here. But as we close this meal, let me serve the dessert. You're going to have to cut back on your spending. The usual budget shit. I won't go into it. All right? Usual budget shit. But then you're going to have to make more just so you can stay above water. And the reason why you're going to have to actually double your income is because your primary source of income is at jeopardy at all fucking times right now. At any point in time, you may lose your job for a market downturn, for economic crises, for lack of performance on your part, or the fact that they can get somebody cheaper to do your job for automation. You're going to have to double your income. I'm gonna do this. I think it's gonna do like 4% versus 4.25% / double or nothing. Like, it's really double or nothing. You will have to double your income or have absolutely fucking nothing. Double your income. Like, bro, I think you got this from, like, another movie, but Freeman's Journal a while back. Shout out to Freeman's Journal. He told me, I was just like, hey, listen, man, I'm doing this, and this. Give him an update because I want to do some, I still want to do some stuff, and I'm pretty much on track with that type of stuff. A couple things have come up where I have to help out my dad, but, you know, I'm in the position to do that, and also help out my mom, so I'm in the position to do that, thankfully. But, double or nothing, you're really going to have to deal with, you're really going to have to really look over your shoulder at all times and maintain 2 jobs at the same fucking amount of money. And I'm not talking about you and your wife working or anything else like that. I'm talking about, nigga, you gonna have to have 2 jobs. And your wife might have to have 2 as well. Or you might have to work out the numbers where you get 2 to 3 fucking jobs and your wife stays at home so she can take care of the kids or whatever and provide and support for you and all types of other shit. But at this point in time, y'all really, at this point in time, one of y'all gonna have to have a second job. It's getting that fucking bad. You're going to have to double your income, period, to make it through this, because you might lose your primary source of income. That's how fucking bad it is. And it's almost like they're making you do this shit. Like honestly, you can't, like, nobody's safe. You can't look at this. My fucking neck is starting to hurt. Oh, God. You can't look at what's happening. You can't look at the situation that our economy's in, that we are in, that the stock market itself is in, which of course is a part of the greater economy. You can't look at, you know, what the situation your neighbor's in or anything else. You can't look at it and say, hey, you know, excuse me. Hey, I'm okay with what I got. I send my friends job. I get fucking calls 2 to 3, 4 times a day for different jobs and stuff like that. I'm always playing the market. I'm always seeing if I can get more contracts or anything else like that so I can make a little bit more money, man. Because when they call me about that 4% today, I said, oh, okay. I'm like, all right, cool, man. It's like, as long as y'all don't bother me, I won't bother y'all. Like, you know, let me do my fucking thing, get my side work done, blah, blah, blah. But this shit out here, bro, this shit, man, you're gonna have to double your income, and I can't stress that enough, to the point where I can't stress that enough how important it is not to make more money. You have to double. Bless me. You have to double your fucking income. If you're not doing that, nigga, good luck. All right, with that being said, love you all, appreciate you, wish you all the best. Peace.